Los Angeles, one of the least corrupt cities in the United States. And its police force is one of the most honest and efficient in the world. But it wasn't always so.
Don't shoot, we're police.
Give me a better reason.
No, it's true.
Get your hand out of your coat. Come on. Move up against your wall. Move it. Move it. You.
Quint said he'd give us trouble.
Quint? You working for Lieutenant Quint? Hey, why didn't you tell me? I would have killed you. All right, come on, turn around. Lay it out.
Well, technically you're under arrest.
Oh, what a blow. What for?
He didn't say, he just said to pull you in.
Dead or alive?
Said not to take any chances.
Yeah, but you took them. And you're still taking them. Of course he told you. He should have told you something else about me. I got a nervous condition. I mean, I'm perfectly normal until I get nervous. And then I totally lose my taffy, you understand? And you guys are making me very nervous.
Look, a dame you knew, she bumped herself off.
What dame I knew?
April Miller. April Miller?
I know the name. I was there until 2 o'clock this morning.
2:11, which is what we got from the taxi driver that took you home. Which is why Lieutenant Quint wants to ask you a few questions.
Knocked herself off? How?
The neighborhood private patrol was making his rounds about 4:15. He hears a car motor going in a closed-up garage, hers. Goes in and finds her full of gas, booze, and dead. That's why Quint just wants to ask you a few questions. How about giving me the gun back?
Stinks.
Well, well. We meet again.
You never cease to amaze me, Lieutenant. I could have sworn that that's what you would say. Well, well, we meet again.
Hey, hello to April. April, say hello to Jake. What's the matter? You ain't talking. Could be you met her before, too?
Yeah, we've met.
What's the matter? You look sick.
I just got a whiff of your breath.
Ain't funny. Hot. Gonna be another hot one. Hot, hot, hot. Think of all the hot women's gonna be out there today. And one who ain't. Where do you know her from?
Way back, when they first brought her out from Missoula, a wampus baby star. After a year in Angel City, she couldn't get arrested.
Guess he crawled into a bottle so he could get arrested. 11 times. Another sad, sad story out of Tinseltown.
Now, don't let it crack you up, Lieutenant.
Steely-eyed. Would you call him a steely-eyed killer?
When I left her, she was alive.
Jake, what was she going to tell the police about you before you stopped the clock?
Oh, me?
Oh. I forgot. Here's a note. She wrote a note, pinned it on you. Found in her bedroom wastebasket. Written with a shaky hand. She's either too drunk or scared to finish it. Dear Jake, after what you said, I know I'm not being smart, but I'm going to the police. That's all she wrote.
Well, I guess I missed the part where it says I killed her.
That's the part she didn't finish, but don't worry. Before I'm done, you'll finish it. Either here or down Central. Don't matter doodly-dock to me.
Well, what can I do in the face of evidence like that? Okay, I'll talk. Just don't mess me up.
Oh, clumsy me. I missed the suspect and broke the taxpayer's chair. Chief's gonna find fault with me for that. Finally, finish this exercise. You want to tell us more than how you snuffed that little broad. You'll be wanting to tell how you shot McKinley.
Before you pop a hernia, Lieutenant, you want a cheap thrill? Tell one of these animated ash cans to go call my attorney, Michael Brim. Tell him to get over here with those pictures dated yesterday.
Pictures? What pictures?
Lovely, full-length studies of me in the nude. Unretouched, Lieutenant. Both sides, front and back. No false modesty.
What are you saying? You damn degenerate.
They show the body beautiful, without a mark on it. Anywhere. You get the point, dum-dum. It's for the record.
Last time, you just happened to have a doctor's report of how you just happened to have a complete physical.
Yeah, Lieutenant, but pictures are quicker and cheaper.
Wait a minute. You don't believe this bum, do you?
He lies like a Turkish rug. But he's got just enough bubbles in his tank to have naked pictures taken.
Yeah, and dated negatives. That way, no inventory, Lieutenant. After a couple of days, I just tear them up. But for you, I could get you a set of autographed... But...
Oh, I thought you'd finished. All right, you check with this shyster Brim. If he don't have the befores, I'll take the afters myself. And enjoy them for years to come. Either way, I don't need to beat it out of you. Much as I'd enjoy it, I don't need it. I got evidence.
That's a novelty. What?
Man walking his dog spots a cab at 2:11. Cab confirms the time he drove you home. Private doorknob rattler finds the stiff at 4:15. Jake, you tried to make it look like solitaire. But she was cold meat when you put her in the car.
Let me guess how you got so smart. A guy down at the lab ran a test. He found the blood full of booze. No monoxide.
Cause of death? Suffocation. Probably passed out in the bed, you snuffed her with a pillow. Covered with makeup, stinks of booze. It's murder one. You're the one. Why?
Sorry to break in, Lieutenant, but you're wanted on the phone. I mean, you are really wanted on the phone.
Oh. Be right back.
Boy, if I were in your shoes, I'd really be worried.
If I were in your shoes, I'd really be embarrassed.
All right, you can go.
I beg your pardon.
I said you can go. Beat it.
A minute ago, you got me standing on a trapdoor with a noose around my neck, and then you get a call on the telephone?
That was a lab. They made a mistake. There was monoxide in the dame's blood.
Oh, yeah? Well, how does that prove that I didn't do it? What about the note?
The verdict is in. It's suicide. Now be missing.
Come on, come on. Nice to see you with your pants down, Lieutenant.
In my opinion, your offer is insulting, absurd, and totally unacceptable. No, he'll take it. What naked pictures?
You gotta admit, it's not a bad idea.
You know, they turned you loose before I could get out the door with a habeas corpus. That must mean that Quint's satisfied that you didn't kill the girl.
I wouldn't say satisfied. One minute he's got a murder case and me to take the rap. Then he gets a telephone call. One telephone call. Calls it suicide and throws me out on the sidewalk.
It wasn't suicide?
It was murder, and Quint could prove it. For once in his life, he was right. He had to bury it.
Why? You don't have any friends at City Hall.
Mike, a murder investigation will knock the lid off of anyone's garbage can.
Jake, do you know who killed her?
No, but I think I know why. Cops found her in a car in a gassed-up garage. Now, the cops looked at her, not at the car. The right front of that car was smashed.
Well, from what I hear, the lady was in the same condition.
Now, the other car involved was foreign, expensive, and blue.
Gee, I'm always amazed by the deductive mind. How did you gather that?
She told me.
Oh.
She didn't get the make of the car, but she's sure it was foreign.
Jake, what does this have to do with her death?
I'll tell you. See, she was driving through Griffith Park. They rode by the bridle path. It was dark. She was a little drunk. And the foreign job was just sitting there, all of a sudden, right in front of her. She thought the other car was empty. She went to leave a note. That's when she saw the woman. A redhead. Wait a minute. Hey. Wait a minute.
Kill somebody!
Shut up, will you? Who'd you kill? Time I got the whole story, I didn't believe it. Not the part about killing the dame. April hadn't been driving fast, not over 25. I didn't think she could kill anyone. Not in a parked car at that speed. Besides, it takes an expert to know when someone's dead. You're no expert. Listen, I was in the morgue once when one of the bodies sat up and asked for a bedpan.
Jake, she was dead. I touched her. She was cold.
She couldn't have been. Not that fast. Let's face it, baby. You were blotto. To prove the point, I drove her car back to Griffith Park. And there wasn't any blue foreign job. And there wasn't any redhead, dead or alive.
She was sure it was the same place?
It had to be. I found broken glass from the other car on the road. So forget it. Your redhead was sleeping it off, and she came to and drove home. Either that or her boyfriend was taking time out in the bushes, came back and drove her home.
I still think I should tell the police.
What are you, crazy? The cops? You left your name and address. That's more than enough. She still had the shakes when I got her home. Scared to be alone. Look, Mike. He was parked down there with a stiff on the seat. He was out of his car. What for? What else? He was looking for a place to dump the body.
Jake.
Yeah, it's been spaded up and filled in again. Look, fresh grass on the wrong side.
It isn't more than 2 or 3 inches deep.
Didn't finish.
He must have still been digging when he heard the crash.
Yeah, scared the spit out of him and he got over the body. Look, Mike, you could see her from here, leaving her name and address. He could have been there waiting when I took her home.
Come on. April got a look at the dead woman. She got a look at the car. She's the only one who could tie the two together.
Mike, I know. That's why he killed her. But in order to prove that, I gotta prove that he killed the redhead first.
Why? Why do you have to prove anything? This isn't like you, Jake. Going to work without somebody to pay the bill.
I'm gonna send this one to April.
Jake, you still don't have a redhead. And even if one turns up dead, you can't be sure it's the same one. All you've got is some broken glass and some loose dirt.
No. I got something blue, foreign, and expensive with a busted rear end and a body shop somewhere in this city where I'm gonna find it.
Where's the sawbuck?
A sawbuck? You said a 5-spot.
That's when I had nothing, Jake. Which is what you still got. Happen I don't get a sawbuck.
Reggie, the only reason you're a cop is because the crooks in this town have higher standards. That's for a sniff. You get the other half if it doesn't stink.
Okay. That motor vehicle you've been asking about? That blue thing? Could it maybe be Italian?
You found one?
No.
No. Come on. What are you doing?
One was lost. 1935 Bugatti. The squeal just come in. Seems that it was took out of the owner's garage about 4 nights ago.
4 nights ago and the guy just reported it? Who is this creep? Maybe I'll mess him around.
Yeah, Jake, you do that. You go after him. I'd like to see that.
You seem a little eager. What, is he bigger than me or something?
Bigger? He just ain't bigger, Jake. He's the biggest. The biggest in California.
The governor?
Bigger.
The ex-governor? John Emerson Manning?
Mm-hmm. You know what me and Westbrook Pegler said?
Surprise me.
The only man that can beat FDR in 36.
As I came to life in a rough, tough mining camp not 50 miles from here. It's a ghost town now. And so far, no one has put up a monument to mark the birthplace of our 33rd president. When they do, I'll be happy to donate the land. Yes, I picked it up dirt cheap because I have faith. Faith, God helping in my own future, in the future of my native state, and that of my native land.
Great. Wonderful, inspiring. Notable statement.
Me again, Governor, and I might add a significant utterance, sir.
Well, thank you. Now, if you don't
You do
mind...
remember me, don't you, sir? You got my messages? I tried to reach you all day at the office. I left messages there and at your home, sir. I hope I'm not overstepping, sir, and I did tell you that I would see you here. It's about the car, sir, the one that was stolen, the blue Bugatti.
Oh, yes, you're...
Yes, sir, I'm taking over the case. I hope you don't think I'm out of line, but it's very difficult to reach you sometimes, sir, and I do have to get a bit more information.
All right, your name?
Jacob, sir.
All right, Jacob. 10 a.m., my house.
Morning, Governor. Beautiful day, isn't it, sir?
Yes. But before we get too ecstatic, do you know the penalty in this state for impersonating an officer?
Yes, I do, sir, but you got to admit, Governor, that I was very careful not to say that I was of the police. Though we're all sipping through the same straw, so to speak. I am licensed and bonded by the state of California and commissioned by the city as a special officer.
I know how it works, Mr. Axminster.
Oh, those are not embossed, sir.
But they do cost money.
When I give a police officer a job, he doesn't usually turn it over to somebody else. I question that. And of course, there's no Jacobs assigned to the case. You won't have any further use for the car. Unless you can explain to my satisfaction why you poked your nose into police business. Or is it my business? Who are you working for? And don't tell me any stupid lies. I don't always know when a man is lying, but I do know when he's stupid.
Good point. Okay, I'm working for me. Your Bugatti fits the description of a car that was involved in a very bad accident night before last. I had a good friend who died as a result of that accident. If your car was stolen 3 days before the accident, why did you wait so long to report it missing?
You think I reported the car stolen to avoid responsibility?
They're talking about me. I know they are.
Well, if they are, I'm sure they're not saying anything bad, Mrs. Manning.
I didn't report the theft because I thought my daughter, Louise, had taken the car. I didn't want to make any more trouble for her.
More trouble?
We've had our differences, personal and political. When she was living under my roof, she drove the Bugatti. When she moved out, she left it here. Didn't want anything of mine. But she took the keys. So I thought she might have changed her mind. I sort of hoped she had.
And what makes you think she didn't?
She called me yesterday on a family matter. I asked her about the car. She doesn't have it.
Because she said she doesn't?
She doesn't lie to me. I want you to go to work for me. I'll give you a bonus of $100 if you find the Bugatti, over and above your usual rates. As your client, of course, I'll expect periodic reports on your progress.
If anything happens, you'll get it first. Where can I find your daughter?
In Long Beach. She's performing at a circus.
Nobody under 60 gets a nickel, Bub.
I'll be 65, ma'am, if I live that long.
In California today, we have 1,250,000 unemployed, 1/5 of our entire population. So I'm not here as the daughter of a former governor of the great state of starvation. I'm here as a volunteer worker for the man with the plan to restore prosperity not only to California, but to every state in the 48. Dr. Townsend?
Thank you, Louise. My dear friends, every day brings more of us together in this great crusade to end depression and despair. In days to come, all Americans will look forward to the years beyond 60 as a delightful golden autumn instead of a bleak and fearful winter.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Oh, that's okay. If I'd waited a little longer, I could have qualified for the plan.
Your note said you worked for my father. I've been debating whether I should talk to you at all. So just state your business and be brief.
Look, Miss Manning, no one in California has ever done that. I'll try to back into it gradually. Where's the Bugatti?
The Bugatti.
The car. The blue Italian job.
I know what the Bugatti is. What do you mean, where?
Well, it seems to be missing.
Oh, really? Is that it? He thinks I took it, and what are you, some sort of cop?
Private.
He sent you to question me? Some two-bit private eye?
Oh, when I work for the governor, I get 50 cents.
Well, look, I do not have his stupid car. I wouldn't have anything of his.
That's what he said you said. And he believes that. But I haven't known you long enough.
Look, I've got a bus to catch.
Going where?
To L.A. You see, I do not have the Bugatti. Or any other car.
I'll give you a lift. If you'll pay for the gas.
I'll just get out here.
Wait, hold it. I'll take you home.
I'm not going home. Just tell me what I owe you for the gas, and I'll send it to you when I get it.
You really didn't take anything from your father, did you? Or maybe you're afraid I'll tell him where you're staying.
You might, if I had a place.
If you don't, I know how you can keep me quiet.
How's that?
Stay in my place. Look, I just have a couch. I rent it out for 50 cents a night.
Well, maybe until I get settled. You can add it to the bill. Now what? Do I just stretch out here while you take notes?
Notes?
Look, you work for my father. You obviously want to ask some questions. Let's get that over with.
Okay. So your father told you there wasn't any Santa Claus, and you hate him for telling the truth?
No, for lying, for cheating.
The public?
My mother.
With another woman?
Yes.
A redhead?
How did you know?
Well, I'm partial to redheads myself. What's her name?
That's the one thing he'd never tell. Told my mother everything else, all the dirty, rotten details.
Why?
Well, at first he wanted out of the marriage, but he didn't want this lady's name dragged into it. He was still governor then.
And it's finished now.
My mother thought it was. We left Sacramento. We weren't back in L.A. 2 weeks before she guessed the truth. He brought his redhead down here, too.
But your mother never knew the redhead's name?
No, and it drove her right out of her mind. I mean, really out. They had to lock her up.
Where is she now?
Back with him at the house. All you'll hear about our future First Lady is that she's been ill and is still under a doctor's care. Now tell me why you hate your father.
Hello?
Where have you been? Did you hear on the radio?
What?
They found a dead woman in Griffith Park. And Jake, she's a redhead.
What else? What's her name?
Let's see. Her name was Leslie Penn. She was a singer. The body was identified by her business partner, a lady named Hannah Bach. They owned a nightclub together in Santa Monica, the Cardboard House.
Hannah Bach?
That everyone ought to do. I'm living in.
Excuse me, I'm looking for a woman, Hannah Bach.
I'm Hannah Bach. I'm also a woman, if that was meant to be smart.
No, not at all.
What are you, another cop?
Well, I don't work for any particular magazine, but you may have read something by Roger Forsyth. I care about the human side. That's why I want to know more about Leslie Penn.
Well, listen, that's her singing.
The mere idea of you.
She sings pretty good.
She was the best. And now some sweaty, hairy, cigar-smoking slob has made a silence where that voice used to be.
You sound like you know who might have done it.
No, I should have said some man.
But you knew her well.
We were partners.
Business partners?
Socially, we went our own peculiar ways. Do you want more human interest?
Did she have any particular friend?
Yes, she did. I don't know who. I gather he was married. Anyway, it was already a well-established act when she came down here and bought into this place. I think the money came from him.
They came down here?
She was a Sacramento girl.
Here comes Mr. Axminster now. I was just telling this gentleman here how you solve all those big, heavy cases for the police. The time you...
Howdy, Mr. Axminster. Me and the boys here got together and, well, shucks, we want you to come along down to Central with us so we can show you how much we appreciate your help.
folks. Only one more week of hell. I'll be an Omega Gamma Delta man myself.
Now are you going to tell Mother what kind of trouble you're in?
No trouble. I mean nothing special. Just like one of those Western sheriffs. Just trying to do my job, ma'am.
You didn't hurt your stomach that bad falling on the stair when you were shot at.
No, I didn't. I'm working on a murder case. See, the cops took me in to have a serious talk with me about butting out of their business. That's how I hurt my stomach.
Ugly.
No, it was beautiful. That's why I fell down, just before the guy with the shotgun blew me down. You see, he didn't know the cops had told me to butt out. Every now and then, there's a breakdown in communication between the cops and the crooks in this town.
What murder case?
I didn't tell them. I'm not going to tell you.
You don't trust me?
Look, sweetheart, I don't trust anybody.
Maybe you think I'm the killer.
Maybe you are.
The car. The Bugatti. It has something to do with the case.
Does it?
That's why you came to me in the first place. If I'm a suspect, I've got a right to know who I'm supposed to have killed.
Yeah, and I'm too weak not to tell you. Excuse me. They found a woman's body today in Griffith Park. Name was Leslie Penn. She was a redhead. She was from Sacramento.
Father's floozy?
I don't know, but she was somebody's something. And a pretty good saloon singer, too.
Well, what's the Bugatti got to do with it?
On the night that Leslie Penn was killed, somebody spotted a dame that could have been her in a car that could have been the Bugatti.
Could have been. Why don't you just get your witness to take another look, see if the woman was Leslie Penn?
The witness is dead. She was killed that night a few hours later. She was a friend of mine, April Miller.
You say the police told you to butt out? Of which case?
Both. The fix is in, sweetheart, from somewhere way upstairs.
You don't suspect me. You suspect my father.
Well, if this redhead from Sacramento is that redhead from Sacramento, and if that foreign car is his foreign car, then your father had a motive. Of course, so did you. But more than that, so did your mother.
Well, you can forget about her.
Oh, like your father did?
Well, I'm not saying she couldn't have done it if she'd known who the woman was. But she couldn't cover up a cigarette burn in a string rug. She couldn't fix a traffic ticket. I mean, you'd know that if you'd ever seen her.
Yeah, well, I want to know that. I want to see her.
That's impossible. She shut herself up in a room. She won't see anyone.
She'll see you.
She'll see you, Miss Louise, but not the gentleman. I'm very sorry, sir. She's just not strong enough.
Oh, but Vic, that's the whole reason I'm here when my father isn't. I want my mother to meet my fiancé.
All right, let me see what I can do.
That is your mother's nurse?
He prefers to be called a therapist. He almost got the Bruce Cabot role in King Kong, but he had no experience.
He should have tried for the other part.
She'll see both of you.
Baby, how good it is to have you home again. Oh,
only for a visit.
Even if it's just for a minute. And this must be your young man, Mr.
Axminster.
Oh, that's much too difficult. Billy's a nice name. I like Billy. Is it all right if I call you that?
Well, it's Jake with me, Mrs. Manning. Could I speak to you in private?
Oh, you mean Vic? Oh, you can say anything in front of Vic. I mean, I can't even go to sleep unless I hear Vic breathing.
In the other room, with the door open.
So you see, if I need anything in the night, all I have to do is just scream.
Well, that must be a good feeling, then. Mrs. Manning and Vic, have either one of you ever heard of a nightclub singer named Leslie Penn?
Vic? Haven't we? Don't I have her, or doesn't the governor have a record by that girl, if that was her name?
Well, if you do, it's a collector's item now, sadly to say.
Sadly.
Well, she's no longer with us. Or, haven't you heard?
Oh. Oh, no, that is sad. But I must say that you have aroused my curiosity. Vic, be a love. Go look in the cabinet. See if we've got one of the records just for fun. Are you a collector yourself?
Yes, of sorts. I collect curious and coincidental facts. Like, the lady came from Sacramento. She used to live up there when your husband was governor. She's a redhead.
No. Don't you do that. Don't you do that to me. Don't you tell me that she was that woman, my husband's harlot.
Mother.
Who are you?
Mother.
He's not your fiancé. Who is he?
I'm a private detective, Mrs. Manning, and I'd just like a little information.
I haven't any information. All I know about that creature is that she does exist, or she did. I hope she is dead. The wages of sin is death. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Do you know who said that?
DeMille?
Vic! Vic, come in here and get him! He's a detective!
All right, you. Okay, Vic, you don't have to get so tough about it. Okay, I'm going. Come on, Louise.
You stay with your mother.
Jake, you better go. I better stay.
I understand.
Oh, Jake, you're still here.
How'd you get here? Whose car is that?
One of my father's. Yes, I took it. I had to see you to warn you. My father came home. My mother tore into him about that woman. Now he's blaming you for what happened to her. Oh, he'll have your hide, Jake. He'll nail it to the wall.
Not if I nail him first.
You can't. Don't you understand? You cannot beat my father. You can't fight him and the police and City Hall and the whole state all by yourself. What's the matter with you?
I'm a nut. I'm bongo. I love to try to beat the house even when I know the wheel is fixed.
Yes, you do. And I could kiss you for it. Because I love what you are. And I hate what he is. But now you've got to take the loss. You've got to get out of his backyard, pick up your marbles. You're finished.
You really mean what you say? Sit down here. You really hate your father that much? Enough to help me? If you do, I can beat him. We can beat him together.
How?
I can prove that he killed 2 women if I can just find that car of his.
You keep talking about that car as if I know where it is.
I think you do. I think you got it locked up here inside your head. You know how your father thinks. Try to think like him. If he had to get rid of a car fast, if he had to get rid of it so nobody would ever find it, where would he put it? Come on, think.
I can't. You're scaring me. I'd like to help you, but I'm afraid you're trying too hard. So long, Jake. And please don't just sit here and wait for the house to fall in. All right?
That's right. I finally set somebody up just for a change.
All right, it is my father's car. See? You got your evidence. You are right about him, and you've tracked him down right back to the place where he was born.
I was right about you, too. You never hated your father. Listen, this doesn't mean he killed anyone. And I don't think he did.
What about the car?
It came from a family garage. It's on family property. You could have driven that car. More than likely, it was your mother. She's the only one so far who had a strong enough reason to have killed Leslie Penn. And she can plead insanity.
What about the rest of it? She couldn't have done the rest of it.
Vic could have done that. Come on. Let's go find some local law. It's better than the city kind.
He's going for his gun! Get over that car! Get that gun!
I suppose that over the years a man gets careless. A situation or some woman other than his wife becomes too familiar, and he doesn't see why his wife should care enough to follow him. And yet when Cora broke in on us, on Leslie and me, she was like a demon. She flew at Leslie. Leslie fell. And suddenly, she was dead. Now, my wife could not really be held responsible, and yet I knew if everything came out that it would be the end. For her, for me, for everything. Vic had driven Mrs. Manning's car. I had the Bugatti. So I told him to take it and to dispose of the body. I drove Mrs. Manning's car home. Vic took it on himself to kill April Miller after that untimely accident. I was furious, but what could I do? I told him to get rid of the car, and where, and I ordered the investigation stopped. I did not order the attempt on your life. That was Vic's idea, too. So there you have it. I killed nobody. I can still serve my country. I can still go on and be a leader that this nation will be proud of. And yet two people will always know the truth. You and my daughter. Louise has agreed to keep silent if you will. She'll abide by your decision. So tell me, what do I do? Do I continue to serve my country? Or do I pick up that phone? Do I call the Attorney General and confess my part in all this? Having committed no crime more serious than one of concealment.
You hired me to find your car. I found it. Don't ask me what to do about your conscience, because A, I don't care. And B, I might just tell you. Get my bill in the morning.